Marketing exercise of a B2B case study can be diverse in nature and multiple frameworks can be followed for implementation. I understand the study in 6 different phases, which starts with gaining the statistical, non-statistical and competitive insight of the business. Phase 2 of the exercise involved framing broader strategic roadmap that guide to prioritize action and making decisions. Phase 3 of the exercise is about aligning multiple external business factors with most relevant internal elements. Phase 4 is about creation of tools and platforms that facilitate communication. Phase 5 is about on-time execution and correction. And finally, phase 6 is about performance metrics. First part of the exercise is about studying and identifying multiple static, non-static and competitive insights that shape the business. Studying a static insight involves gathering data and analyze it to optimize the business. The very first factor one need to know is the size of the market. This includes existing market as well as market that can be created. Size of market impact on many aspects of decision making. Second factor one need to know is the rate market is growing. Third factor that matters while planning is the existing and expected market share. Also, it is essential to know the way market share is distributed into multiple market segments. Fourth factor to know is market trend. This helps to draw the roadmap. Studying non-static insight is a process involving 5 steps. The very first step asks to identify internal strength and weakness of the firm and evaluate external opportunity and threats present in market. Second step is about addressing 6 very important external factors that impact on business. These factors are political environment around the business, economic conditions around, social behavior and beliefs, technological infrastructure and development, environmental conditions, and last is legal norms of the region, whether favoring business need or not. Third step is about studying brand audit that assess the health of the brand. Typically, it consists of brand inventory and brand exploratory. The brand inventory is a detailed internal description of exactly how the brand has been marketed. The brand exploratory is an external investigation of what brand means to consumer. Step 4 is about studying brand equity. Brand equity defines the value of the brand and can refer into 2 understanding of brand value called as subjective understanding of brand equity and objective expression of brand equity. The subjective understanding of brand equity refers to the consumer's perception of the brand and it is strategically valuable for brand management. Objective expression of brand equity refers to the financial understanding of brand value. It is about accounting for how much financial value a brand holds. Step 5 in the exercise is about identifying the gap between brand identity and brand image. Brand identity is a set of unique and distinct associations that brand strategists seek to create or maintain. It is something that a marketer has as well as something he tries to create through right brand strategy. The image of the brand is the perception of brand by customer. The goal is to ensure that customers hold strong and favorable associations of the brand in their mind. It is evaluated on the basis 3 concepts. First is perception, that is how the brand is perceived by customer. Second is cognition, as brand is cognitively evaluated. And third is attitude, that is what attitude customers display towards the brand. Scanning competitive environment is essential for the business as sensing the opposite and parallel forces and replying with equal measure is needed. This exercise involves 6 steps. First step is about counting the number of options customers have. This includes number of direct as well as indirect competition available in the market. Direct competition is something that replaces your product with other similar product. Indirect competition is something that replaces your concept. Second step is to identify if competitive nature is fragmented or consolidated. Based on the nature of competitive environment, one has to manage resources. Third step in the exercise is to observe the way competition has structured themselves, as a structure is something that carries strength. One need to replicate as per the competitive structure. Fourth step is about knowing the strategies competition is following and its impact on market. One need to align with critical aspect of competitive strategies. Fifth step is about keeping track on all activities planned and conducted by competition and its impact on business. Sixth step is about knowing competitive positioning and messaging. This is needed to counter aligning our positioning and messaging accordingly. Second phase of the exercise is about addressing 8 very important factors based on specific business environment that help managers to track thoughts and prioritize actions at different stages of decision making. The very first factor we study is about business goal for the year, and there are 3 possibilities. First possible goal can be around intensifying existing domain of the business, that is, working in existing market with existing products. Second possible goal can be around extending and expanding the existing scale and scope of the domain, either by adding new product to the portfolio or a product which has not been exposed to its potential, or by entering a new market. Third possibility goes to extreme by creating new domain by entering a new market with new product. Second factor we address in phase 2 exercise is strategic objective, that is based on corporate business goal for the year. Based on specific cases, central objective can be around market penetration or developing new product or market or diversifying the market. Marketing efforts are going to be directed towards the defined strategic objective. We study strategic orientation as third factor, which suggests to base the focus either on the development of internal resources or external resources. Strategic nature is the fourth factor to be addressed in this exercise. It can be intensive to penetrate the existing domain, or it can be integrating to develop new market. If the task is customers adopting new technology, differentiation from existing practices is the key. And finally, when it is about customers adopting new concept, diversification comes into play. Strategic focus is the fifth factor in the exercise. Generally, there are 3 important areas to focus. First is about scanning consumer context in depth and identifying where the scope of targeted product lies. Second is about positioning the product efficiently, and third is about developing the resources and capabilities to ease the adoption. Sixth factor, I call it discriminator, which is about identifying the center of focus in the exercise. Generally, development of concept is the first area to place the focus. Development of product is the second area to place the focus. And finally, customer centricity is the third priority. Is other way if the strategic objective is to penetrate the existing market. Marketing orientation is the seventh factor to know, which is about orienting the marketing efforts either around tactics or around a strategic move. Last factor to focus in the exercise is about marketing focus. It is about advancing the solution, keeping corporate brand identity at center is the key. Selective approach to marketing mix is needed. Third phase of the exercise involves identifying external key factors that shape up the market and aligning these factors with most relevant internal elements. This exercise involves 3 stages. Stage 1 is about identifying multiple dimensions and discriminators that segment the market potential. The dimension very commonly used in B2B setting is based on customer potential and market share. It is an effective way to segment the market. Generally, it segments in 4 forms. First form represent customers who are holding very high stake and who are also giving a high share to you. The second form include customers who are holding high stake but who are not giving high share to you. Third form include customers who are not holding that great market stake, but they give high share to you. And fourth form include customers who are not holding the largest stake and at the same time they are not giving significant share to you. Post identifying market segments, one need to identify key discriminators to target the most relevant segments. Generally, it accounts one rational factor and four non-rational factors. Economy is the rational discriminator which talks about the existing share and scope. Identity, personality, relation are non-rational targeting discriminator plays important role. Stage 2 of the exercise involves two major steps. Step 1 is about scanning internal factors and identifying the potential need and interest of the business. There are four major areas of exercise. First area is to identify right product to be targeted against the competition. This involves scanning the core reason for customers' existing usage behavior and targeting the most relevant solution against the existing practice. Second area is to determine an optimum price to target maximum share. There can be many understanding to determine the right price. I evaluate two critical factors to determine the price. First is the significance your solution add to the overall procedure, and second is the number of options available to replace. Third area is to determine the inventory needed to run the business, and fourth and a very important area is to determine the budget required to run marketing campaigns. Step 2 is about identifying brand essence, that is going to be the soul of the branding process. Every marketing activity is going to be based on and around brand essence. Stage 3 is about alignment. This involves two major steps. Step 1 is about positioning the product. It is an interesting phenomena which involves identifying consumer context to its depth where the product is consumed, lived experiences of customer. Post identifying consumer context, one need to position a concept based on the product, resolving consumer context efficiently. The key is positioning associations must be strong, specific, and favorable. Step 2 is messaging. This involves creation of communication that must satisfy segmentation, positioning, and brand essence. Messaging must display functional, experiential, and symbolic characteristics. Messaging is a continuous process that involves verbal and non-verbal communication via tools and activities. How messaging statement is shaped matters big way. As per human psychology findings, customers value why they should buy rather what and how they should buy. Hence, messaging must be around why, followed by how, and finally what. Phase 4 of the exercise is all about creation of tools and platforms that facilitate an integrated communication based on previous exercises. Designing multiple integrated programs is a very crucial exercise in this process. There are a few very crucial facts one need to consider while designing these platforms. The very first fact that help to give the right objective and right shape to these platforms is every customer act as per their current status, but they attempt towards their desired state of life. Their interest and involvement is directed towards approaching what they wish for. One must consider these important aspects and give a classified shape to each platform that help your customer to approach towards the desired. Other important fact noticed very common is every customer act and react for two very crucial motives. The first motive is based on individual construction. Every individual attempt to construct himself or herself to achieve the desired. Any platform, any activity that support customer for such development is recognized and responded by customer. Second motive drive customer action is around expressing himself or herself to society. Social expression is inbuilt to human behavior. Any act and association that takes customer towards social expression is appreciated and participated. Phase 5 of the exercise is the most important phase of any marketing plan as it deals with execution. Phase 5 is about delivering what all is thought and planned in phase 4 of the exercise and monitoring the same on timely basis. This crucial exercise takes 5 steps. The step 1 we call it program management. To walk towards the to walk towards the defined goal of marketing, one need to draw the journey into multiple dedicated, differentiated, and integrated programs. Each program carries a specific part of the larger goal and altogether forms the goal for the year. Step 2 we call it project management. Here we divide different programs into multiple projects. Each project is specific, important, and together they give shape to a original program. This individual project is designed with multiple activities that shape it to meet the goal. Step 3 is about management of different process involved. Each designed project involves several processes to run. Management of these channels, these processes is very critical as it ensures the strength and effectiveness of the specific project. Step 4 is about management of vendors involved. It is about selection of right vendor, task allocation, and continuous coordination and monitoring. Last step is to measure the effectiveness of each activities involved into different projects. It also account the effectiveness of involved people and firms. Sixth part of the exercise is about forming an inclusive and diverse performance matrix. Ideally, any marketing initiative must be assessed in three dimensions. First dimension is about internal objective. Behind every marketing effort, there is an internal objective associated. In most of the cases, it's around expanding the user base. Generally, it is considered as leading indicator of success. Second dimension to assess the effectiveness of marketing activities is to what extent we meet external objective. It's generally around alignment of brand image and brand identity. Again, it is the core aspect and considered as leading indicator. Third dimension to assess is financial objective. Financial gain is very essential, still it is considered as lagging indicator of success.